Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming. Today we're going to talk about anxiety, stress, and coping, things that we all deal with almost every day. So we will look at what they are, how they affect us, and some simple coping skills that you can use to feel more calm and in control. So I'd like to invite you to use the chat when you need to, or if you're in a clubhouse watching, pause and talk with the other people there if you feel like it. Or just take notes and you don't have to respond to anything. Just feel comfortable listening. So let's take a quick look at what we are going to cover today. This session is designed to be practical and easy to follow. We'll break things down in a simple way and focus on real life situations. We'll learn how stress shows up in our daily routines, why it can feel overwhelming, and what you can do to manage it. This is an educational session. This is not therapy, but our goal is to leave you with helpful tools that you can actually use. So before we really start, let's do a quick check-in and get everyone thinking about how stress shows up personally. In the chat, if you want to, or among yourselves, type in one word that describes how stress usually feels for you. There's not a right word or a wrong word, and you don't need to explain it. This is just a way to notice important patterns and remind ourselves that many people experience similar feelings, even if we don't always talk about them. We just want to notice things. Okay, what is stress? With those responses in mind, let's talk about what it actually means and how it works in the body. Stress is a natural reaction that happens when we face demands, challenges, or changes. It's the way our body tries to protect us and keep us, and help us respond. The body is trying to help us. So when something feels urgent or important, the brain sends signals that prepare us to act. This can increase alertness, energy, and focus for a short time. In certain situations, that response can actually be really useful, such as a meeting or a deadline, handling an unexpected problem, maybe handling an emergency. However, stress also can become an issue when it happens too often or lasts too long. When the body stays in a constant state of pressure, it doesn't get enough time to recover. Over time, this can affect our sleep, mood, concentration, and overall physical health. Many people don't realize how much stress they're carrying because it builds up slowly and it becomes part of our everyday life. It becomes normal. Stress can come from so many different sources. This includes responsibilities at work, financial concerns, expectations of your family, health issues, ongoing uncertainty, and even positive changes like a new job or moving, a new baby or a new marriage or a new relationship. Those can create stress because they require adjustments. As we look at these common sources, there's something really important to keep in mind. Everyone experiences stress differently, and what feels manageable to one person may feel overwhelming to someone else. Understanding stress is the first step towards managing it. When we recognize that stress is a normal response and not a personal failure, we begin to notice our triggers and take steps to reduce the impact. Okay, what about anxiety? It's helpful to understand how anxiety fits into this conversation. Anxiety is a state of ongoing worry, nervousness, or fear that might continue even when there's not an immediate threat. While stress is often linked to a specific situation or demand, anxiety tends to linger and can feel harder to turn off. It may cause the mind to focus on the worst case scenarios, future problems that may never happen. This can make everyday tasks feel heavier or more difficult than they need to be. A little bit late on that slide. Sorry about that. So anxiety can affect both your thoughts and emotions. People may feel tense and uneasy or constantly on edge. It could also interfere with your decision making, concentration, and confidence. Some individuals some individuals notice anxiety showing up of a constant what if thinking, while others experience a restlessness or a feeling unable to relax. These reactions are common and do not mean that something is wrong with you. Anxiety also has physical effects. It can lead to shallow breathing and muscle tightness, stomach discomfort, and a racing heart. Because these sensations feel uncomfortable or frightening, they sometimes increase the worry even more. This will create a cycle where anxious thoughts and body reactions feed into each other. I think a lot of us have experienced this at one point or another. So, what contributes to anxiety? There's a long list of things. So many factors can contribute, but this may include a long-term pressure, possibly your past experiences that you're reacting to now, uncertainty about future events, or possibly lack of rest. Any of your transitions, and there are so many life transitions, and ongoing responsibilities often make anxiety even more noticeable. So, learning to recognize anxiety is an important step toward managing it, like everything. With awareness and coping strategies, it's possible to reduce its intensity and regain a sense of calm and control. Understanding anxiety helps us see part of the picture. Now, let's talk about why stress can gradually accumulate. Stress often develops from the demands and pressures we face in everyday life. Many adults juggle multiple responsibilities at once, and this can quickly create mental and emotional strain. Your work schedules, deadlines, and performance expectations are common sources. These are typical everyday situations, especially when there's little flexibility or support. When you add in financial concerns, such as managing bills, debt, and unexpected expenses, this can create ongoing pressure that feels very difficult to escape. Relationships also play a major role. Family responsibilities, parenting, caregiving, or conflict with others can increase tension over time. Even positive relationships can become stressful when communication breaks down or expectations feel unclear. Health-related concerns, whether physical or mental, may add another layer of worry, particularly when answers or solutions feel out of reach. Change and uncertainty are also major contributors. Life transitions like moving, we've talked about that a little bit, changing jobs, starting and ending relationships, adjusting to new routines and work that requires energy and adaptation. When many changes happen close together, stress can build up fairly quickly. This is personal. What feels overwhelming to one person may not affect another person in the same way. Recognizing your own stress sources helps you better understand your reactions and choose coping strategies that will fit your situation and your life. Your answer may not be the same as someone else, it's either a family member or a friend, and we all cope very differently. Okay, let's pause again. What sounds most like you when you're stressed? This question is meant to help you notice how pressure tends to show up for you personally. Take a moment and look through these options and choose things that feel closest to your experience. Many people relate to more than one response, so pick the one that stands out most to you today. This is simply about awareness, not labeling or judging how you handle stress. So if you want to put it in the chat, great. Or you can pause if you're in the clubhouse and discuss this. But we just want you to think about what stress might feel like for you. Okay, stress does not only affect thoughts and emotions, it often appears in physical ways throughout the body. When pressure builds, muscles may tighten without us realizing it, especially in the neck, shoulders, and the jaw. This tension can lead to soreness and frequent headaches. Some people notice changes in their breathing, such as taking quicker and shallower breaths, which can increase feelings of discomfort and fatigue. Your digestive system is also very sensitive to stress. Your appetite may increase or decrease, and some individuals experience stomach pain, nausea, or changes in your digestion during stressful periods. Energy levels can drop as the body uses more resources to stay alert, leaving you feeling worn down or drained after resting. Stress can influence your heart function as well. A faster pulse or a sensation of pressure in the chest may occur, especially during intense moments. And while these reactions are usually temporary, frequent activation can place extra strain on the body over time. So we want to recognize these symptoms early. These are important clues, which is why learning to recognize them can make a big difference. Because physical signs often develop gradually, they are easy to overlook or ignore. Paying attention to the signals can serve as an early warning system. Noticing physical discomfort allows us to respond sooner by resting, slowing down, or using coping strategies before stress becomes overwhelming. Catching it early. That's really what we want to do, is to try to notice these things and respond earlier. Stress doesn't just impact the body, it also changes how we think and process information. Mental strain often develops quietly and can be harder to notice than physical discomfort. Under ongoing pressure, thoughts may become scattered or even harder to organize. Tasks that normally feel simple to you may begin to feel confusing or exhausting. Some people find it difficult to concentrate or stay motivated or remember information when stress is on the rise. Emotional reactions may also change. Feelings such as frustration, impatience, or emotional numbness can become more frequent. Small problems might feel larger than they truly are, leading to a sense of being mentally overloaded. Stress can also influence how a person views themselves, sometimes increasing self-doubt or harsh inner criticism. Decision-making often can become more difficult under periods of mental strain. The brain may jump quickly to negative outcomes or focus on potential mistakes rather than solutions. This can create avoidance, procrastination, or feeling stuck. And over time, constant mental pressure can reduce enjoyment in daily activities, making it harder to feel present in the moment. It's important to remember these reactions are not signs of weakness or failure. These are common responses to prolonged pressure. Recognizing mental changes early allows individuals to slow down, adjust to the expectations, and apply coping strategies that support clarity, balance, and emotional well-being. So why does our body react this way in the first place? Let's talk about fight or flight. The fight or flight response is an automatic system designed to keep us safe. It begins in the brain when a situation is interpreted as threatening or demanding. Once activated, the body quickly prepares itself for action. And this process happens without conscious thought and is a part of human survival. Long ago, it helped people react to physical danger, such as escaping harm or defending themselves. When this response turns on, several changes happen at once. The brain becomes more alert, the senses sharpen, energy is redirected to the systems needed for quick movement, and at the same time, non-essential processes slow down temporarily. These reactions are not harmful on their own, and they're meant to be short-lived. This is supposed to be a short-term response. In modern life, the same response can activate during situations that are not physically dangerous. Things like deadlines, conflict, unexpected bills, or overwhelming schedules can trigger the same internal reaction. Because these stressors often last longer than immediate threats, the body may remain in a heightened state for extended periods. Our bodies are not meant to stay in these stressful states for extended periods. So when the body stays in fight or flight too often, it can wear the body down and the mind. People may feel constantly alert, tense, and unable to fully relax. Understanding this response helps us understand why stress can feel intense even when no real danger is present. Learning calming techniques teaches the body that it is safe to slow down, allowing our nervous system to reset and regain balance. So now that we understand the fight or flight response, let's take a minute and reflect on how it might show up for you personally. What is the first sign your body gives you when you feel stressed? This question is meant to help you tune into your own experience. So think about it for a minute before I put the list up. Think about your body and your mood and how pressure builds up and where you feel it in your body first. There's not a need to analyze, we just want to notice a pattern. And so awareness is an important step to responding more effectively. So do your muscles tighten up? Where? Do you feel it in your shoulders or your chest? Do you feel changes in your breathing? Maybe you feel headaches. And maybe as pressure builds, your headaches get worse. Mood shifts? Yes, I think we all experience mood shifts under pressure. And maybe there's something else. Maybe you feel a tightening in your throat or behind your eyes. It's a good question to think about. You can put it in the chat if you want to, or you can pause here and talk about it with people in the clubhouse. Noticing the signs gives you power. Now, we will explore more strategies you can use in those moments. When stress appears, having simple tools that work quickly can make a noticeable difference. These strategies are designed to be used in the moment, and they don't require any special equipment. There's no time commitment here. It doesn't require a lot of training, and they can be used almost anywhere. The goal is to help the body and the mind settle before stress grows stronger. One helpful approach involves intentional breathing. We also have a training class on breath. It includes breath and the importance of sunlight. But right here, let's just cover a couple of things. Slow breathing sends a signal to your nervous system that it can begin to calm down. So even a few steady breaths can reduce the feelings of urgency. Another option is gentle physical movement. Stretch, rolling your shoulders back, to stand up or to walk briefly, not necessarily quickly, but just to stroll. This can release built up tension and improve your circulation. So these are really basic things. Slow breathing sends the signal to your brain and your nervous system that things are calm. and gentle stretches. Just a little bit of tension relief. And then we have some grounding techniques. These are also effective for interrupting your racing thoughts. These methods encourage attention to the present. This is by noticing physical sensations, sounds, or visual details around you. This shift helps pull your focus away from worries and back into the here and now. And this may be just pausing where you are and just listening to hear what you hear. Sometimes from my office, I can hear on certain days when the lawn people are out mowing or trimming. And when I notice that sound, it's a distraction a little bit from any kind of anxiety that it might be building because I'm just noticing the sound. Maybe it's noticing some birds or even the hum of the air conditioning system or a fan is really kind of helpful to ground you back in the present moment, to move away from racing thoughts. Temperature-based strategies can also be helpful. Holding something cool or rinsing your hands under cold water can quickly create a physical reset. These sensations help to redirect your attention and can ease that physical discomfort. These tools are meant to be flexible. Different strategies work for different people, and the effectiveness may change depending on the situation. So practicing these skills during calmer moments can make them easier to use when stress rises unexpectedly. So yeah, take some of these and just practice them maybe when you're not under a lot of stress. Running your hands under cool water, getting some ice and maybe holding that, or a cool drink. Just tinker with it and see what feels calming to you. Breathing patterns play a powerful role in how the body responds to pressure. During tense moments, breathing often becomes fast or shallow even when we don't notice it. This happens like automatically. Adjusting the breath on purpose can help bring the body back into a steadier rhythm. This technique works because breathing is one of the few body functions that we actually can control. So focusing on breathing is really important. Here's a simple breathing exercise that involves the slow pace and creates equal timing. So begin by inhaling through your nose for a steady count. Allow the chest and the stomach to expand naturally. Then pause briefly before exhaling through the mouth at the same pace. Breathing this pattern helps reduce physical tension and mental noise both. I know it sounds simple, but it really is true. So you might breathe in through your nose for a steady count. So you might say 1, 2, 3, and then pause for a second, and then exhale through your mouth for 3 seconds. Maybe you do 2 seconds, but then you do that repetitively, and it creates this rhythm of breathing that is calming. It's very amazing. You want to repeat it several times, and that helps reduce that noise. Focusing attention on the breath can also redirect your thoughts from worry. Counting breaths or noticing how the air feels as it moves can help anchor your attention into the present moment. This is especially helpful during situations where stress feels sudden or really intense. So practicing this technique regularly makes it easier to use when pressure arises. So you want to practice a lot of these things before you feel the stress so that you're ready. This can be done sitting, standing, or walking. And over time, intentional breathing can support your emotional balance, improve your focus, and create a sense of calm during challenging moments. Now that we've talked about calming the body through breathing, let's shift a little bit and focus to the mind and explore how our thoughts influence how we experience stress. Mental coping skills focus on how we respond to challenges internally. The way situations are interpreted can strongly influence emotional reactions. When pressure rises, thoughts may become automatic and negative without being questioned at all. Learning to pause and observe these thoughts creates space for more helpful responses. So we want to pause for a second and focus on your internal response. So one useful strategy is labeling experiences. Simply acknowledging what you are feeling can reduce its intensity. This practice helps you separate the emotion from your identity, reminding you that feelings are temporary and manageable. Another approach involves asking reflective questions, such as whether a concern requires immediate action or can it be addressed later? Does this have to be done right now? Does it have to be thought about right now? Can it wait and be addressed later when maybe I am in a calmer state? This helps prevent worry. It keeps the mind from spiraling into that unnecessary space of worry. How about breaking it down? Breaking down tasks into smaller steps is another effective tool. Large responsibilities can feel overwhelming when viewed all at once. Dividing them into manageable skills, oh, hang on, let me go back. Dividing them into manageable pieces increases clarity and builds confidence through the process. So, strengthening your mental control. Attention control also plays a role. Redirecting focus to one task at a time reduces stress, mental overload, and improves efficiency. So this is kind of going back to breaking it down into multiple tasks rather than one big giant task. Multitasking often increases stress rather than reducing it. And mental coping skills improve with practice. They encourage flexibility in our thinking. They help us create a calmer, more balanced mindset even when external pressures remain present. What about some daily habits? Daily routines have a strong influence on how well we handle pressure over time. Small, consistent habits support emotional stability and improve our overall resilience. One of the important areas is rest. We also have a sleep course. If you are available to take that, we'll be offering that in a couple of months. But regular sleep schedules allow our brain and body to recover. That makes it easier to manage the challenges during the day when we get proper sleep. Irregular or limited sleep really does increase irritability, reduce your patience, making you feel more stressed. Nutrition and hydration also play a role in your emotional regulation. When you skip meals or rely heavily on stimulants, this can lead to energy crashes that affect your mood and your focus. Balanced nourishment supports steady energy levels and mental clarity. So movement is another helpful habit. Gentle physical activity, even in short amounts, can release tension and improve your mood. So even a short walk around your building, around your block, that could really help reduce your tension. We also have classes on nutrition and hydration and movement. None of this requires intensity. Intense exercise is not necessary. Just simple movement throughout the day can be effective. Dancing. Dancing. I think we talk about dancing in the living room in one of our courses. Okay, so boundaries are equally important. Boundaries are also really can be so difficult. But learning when to pause, when to say no, or possibly step away does help prevent overload. Constant availability can lead to exhaustion and resentment. Allowing your time for rest and enjoyment supports long-term well-being. So sometimes we cannot say no, sometimes it's not an option, but there are always things we can possibly say no to. And reserve space for recovery and rest. Building supportive habits takes time and patience. So Focusing on one small change at a time will increase your success. You don't have to do all of these things. I'm throwing out a lot of options, but starting one thing can be really helpful. So these daily choices create a foundation that helps individuals respond to stress with greater balance and confidence. So just one item is what we're looking for. Small habits matter. So now, reflect again, and let's talk about what might feel doable to you. This check-in is an opportunity for you to think about what feels realistic. Everyone has a different preference, comfort levels, ability. There's no best option. You want to just choose a tool that might seem easiest or most appealing to try first. The goal is not perfection, but experimentation. Finding what works for you often takes time, and that process is completely okay. Think back to what we've just talked about. Was there one item that you thought, oh, well, that sounds like a good idea, or I think I could really do that? That's the item you want to use and try to start with. What feels, maybe one thing feels the easiest. You're like, well, that's too easy. Well, yes, implement that thing. Start that habit. Build your personal stress plan and that will help you turn ideas into action. That's what we want over time. So even though we don't want you to do everything at once, this is not about achieving perfection. This really is about developing a really good plan. And so if you start one thing and you get that down, you're more excited and able to start another thing. So instead of changing everything at once, this approach focuses on clarity and intention. A plan becomes, plan provides your direction. It during, I'm sorry, it provides direction during times when your thinking might feel scattered or your emotions are really high. By deciding ahead of time how to respond, it becomes easier to act than to react. Maybe you make a list on your phone or put it on a piece of paper somewhere in your home or your office or your work, wherever you're working, and you have a list of things that you're going to try when things get stressful. So start with this. Identify a trigger. That's going to be one situation that tends to bring pressure. This could be a recurring responsibility, an interaction, possibly a certain time of day when you feel more stressed. Be very specific. That way you don't feel off guard. You want to recognize your patterns that catch you off guard. Okay, and step 2 and 3 to combine. Excuse me. Notice and choose. Consider how your body or your emotions usually signal that tension is increasing. These early signs are valuable because they appear before stress becomes overwhelming. Your body is going to tell you before things get really overwhelming. The final step is choosing a strategy that you're willing to try. This should be something simple and realistic, not a major lifestyle change. Is it a breathing pattern? Is it a grounding method to either hear or see or smell something? This should be something simple and realistic. The goal is to have one dependable option you can reach for when needed. Writing it down and mentally rehearsing it can strengthen your follow through. And be sure and keep it flexible. This plan is a flexible plan. We want it to be adjusted as your life changes. It has to be because things change and you need different tools at different times. So what works today may need to be updated later. Developing this awareness encourages your self-trust and builds confidence. Over time, having a personalized approach can reduce the impact of stress and support a greater sense of balance and control in your life. So managing stress sometimes requires support beyond personal coping skills. Um, Almost always. Having some support in your life is really important. Talking with somebody you trust, a friend, a family member, or maybe a mentor, this can provide reassurance and make challenges feel more manageable. You don't have to handle everything alone. Reaching out is a really important sign of strength. If you can't think of someone that you could use for support, friend, family member, someone who cares about you, this is important. Think about how you might develop some of these relationships and what opportunities you might have to do that. Some other support options might be professional help, a counselor, therapist, or healthcare provider. They can all offer guidance and strategies that are tailored to your needs. Seeking help is a proactive step toward protecting your well-being. Community and digital resources are also available. Many organizations provide free or low-cost services. In the United States, 988 Crisis Lifeline offers immediate emotional support by text or call. Wellness apps, guided tools can also supplement your support during these stressful moments. Everyone's needs are different. Using available resources can strengthen resilience and support long-term emotional health. What are some of our takeaways right now? As we wrap up, it's helpful to reflect on the main ideas that we've talked about and shared. We've covered a lot of material. The information we've talked about highlights the emotional strain that is a common part of our modern life, especially when balancing multiple responsibilities. These experiences, they don't define our personal strength or ability. They're a reflection of natural responses to the ongoing demands. And our world has a lot of demands. Awareness is a central and key role player in managing your stress. Recognizing internal signals, whether physical, emotional, or mental, allows us for earlier and more effective responses. Understanding our nervous system and how it reacts under pressure provides us insight into why certain sensations and thoughts occur. This knowledge helps reduce confusion and self-criticism. Practical tools and habits were introduced as ways to support your balance and stability. These strategies are meant to be flexible and adaptable, fitting into daily routines rather than disrupting them. We want things that fit with your life. So progress doesn't require dramatic change. Small, intentional actions practiced consistently can have a meaningful impact over time. So it's also important to remember that support is available and that asking for help is a proactive step. Your emotional well-being is not something that must be handled alone. Moving forward, focus on applying what feels useful and letting go of what does not. Building healthy relationships with stress, building healthier relationship with stress is a gradual process. Patience, practice, and self-compassion is important. It's possible to improve your emotional resilience and maintain greater balance in your everyday life. So take a moment. What is standing out to you today? Is it a concept or a tool, a new way of viewing your experiences? Don't feel pressured to share unless you feel comfortable or you want to. We're all dealing with a lot of different pressure points and stress items. And we've covered a lot here about looking at different things, why we have so much pressure, where it comes from, why we need to be aware of it, what tools we might use. Reflection helps turn information into understanding. Each one, each small insight can help influence how you approach challenges as you move forward. Holding on to what resonated with you most can serve as a reminder of the skills and awareness you've gained today and things you might want to work on. Let's see, let's go back. Okay, I think that's it. If you have questions, we would love to hear from you, but I want to thank you for taking the time to be here, for showing up. Learning about emotional health is a powerful step. and listening quietly counts. Life moves fast, and it's easy to put your own needs last and not take care of yourself. So choosing to pause for a minute and reflect on something to feel good about is a very good thing. So let us know what you think, how we can help you, what classes you might like to see. But as you leave, I want you to remember again, growth doesn't happen all at once. Small moments of care, whether it's taking a breath, noticing your limits and setting limits, or trying something new, can add up over time. You don't need to master everything. Simply staying curious about what helps you feel more balanced is enough. So be patient with yourself as you practice new skills. Some days it'll feel easier, and that's normal. What matters is that you continue to check in and adjust as you need. As you move forward, take what fits with your life right now. Leave the rest behind or put it on a hold list. Write it down, but don't worry about it. You have more tools and strength than you realize. You can do this. You can do anything. I want to thank you again for being part of this session, and I hope you leave feeling encouraged and supported. Have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you again with our next program.